We have already heard a lot about foreign military bases on our continent. And I feel sad that Ghana is hosting one of these foreign military bases. Now, if you read the terms under which these military bases are established on our continent, you feel sad. You feel hopeless. In Ghana, we have allowed the United States of America to establish its military base on our soil. Under the agreement which allows the U.S. to establish this military base, our head of state is stopped from entering that territory. The U.S. military base is not accessible even to the head of state.
In a decision that could reshape the geopolitical dynamics of West Africa, Ghana's President John Mahama has made his intentions unequivocally clear. The United States military facilities operating within Ghana are to be shut down. This bold declaration signifies not just the physical closure of foreign bases, but a symbolic break from decades of perceived dependency, sending a powerful message about national sovereignty and self-determination. Before we dive deeper into today's update, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support is key to helping us grow and reach more viewers like you. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss out on exciting updates. Ghana, long seen as a beacon of stability in the region, is now poised to redefine its role in global and regional affairs. This decision did not come as a sudden proclamation, but as the culmination of years of debate, public sentiment, and political conviction. It is the product of a complex interplay of history, diplomacy, and the evolving aspirations of the Ghanaian people. For many, it is a moment of pride, a reclaiming of autonomy in a world where smaller nations often find themselves at the mercy of global superpowers. The roots of this issue trace back to 2018 when Ghana entered into the Status of Forces Agreement, SOFA, with the United States. Officially, this was not a deal to establish a U.S. military base, but rather to facilitate military cooperation under the umbrella of the West Africa Logistics Network. The agreement granted the U.S. military access to facilities, including infrastructure at Kotoka International Airport, and offered privileges such as tax exemptions for personnel and equipment. It was framed as a partnership aimed at bolstering regional security against the rising tide of terrorism and instability in West Africa. However, for many Ghanaians, the agreement represented something far more troubling. It symbolized a compromise of sovereignty, an arrangement where the nation's dignity and independence were placed at risk. The presence of foreign troops on Ghanaian soil, even under the guise of logistical support, sparked widespread public outcry. Civil society groups and opposition leaders raised alarms, arguing that hosting foreign forces could make Ghana a target for extremist groups and entangle the country in conflicts that were not of its making. The criticism grew louder with time. Activists pointed out the economic burdens associated with the agreement, such as the requirement for Ghana to provide resources to support U.S. operations. Meanwhile, the benefits touted by proponents, such as enhanced security and economic opportunities, seemed increasingly abstract to ordinary citizens. Public opinion swayed heavily against the agreement, culminating in protests and campaigns demanding an end to foreign military involvement. When John Mahama returned to power in 2025, following a resounding electoral victory, he inherited this contentious legacy. Mahama, known for his articulate vision for Ghana's future, understood the weight of the moment. In his inaugural speech on January 7, 2025, he spoke with conviction about the need to reclaim Ghana's sovereignty and chart a course toward greater self-reliance. It was a message that resonated deeply with a population yearning for renewed national pride and autonomy. What sets Mahama's decision apart is its broader significance. This is not merely about closing foreign military facilities. It is about redefining Ghana's place in the world. By taking this stand, Mahama is signaling a shift in how Ghana, and perhaps Africa as a whole, approaches its relationships with global powers. The continent has long been a theater for geopolitical competition, with foreign nations establishing military bases and economic agreements under the banner of mutual benefit. But such arrangements often come with strings attached, limiting the autonomy of host nations and perpetuating a cycle of dependency. Mahama's intentions are clear. Ghana must break free from this cycle. The decision to phase out U.S. military facilities is rooted in the belief that security and development are best achieved through local and regional efforts. Mahama envisions a Ghana that collaborates with its African neighbors to address shared challenges, from terrorism to economic instability, without relying on external actors whose agendas may not align with the region's best interests. The implications of this move are profound. Domestically, it is met with widespread support. Many Ghanaians view it as a long overdue assertion of independence, a statement that their nation will no longer be a staging ground for foreign powers. Civil society groups, which had campaigned tirelessly against the U.S. military presence, celebrated the announcement as a victory for democracy and activism. For them, it is proof that public opinion can influence policy and that Ghana's leadership is listening to its people. Regionally, Ghana's decision has sparked conversations about the future of security in West Africa. The region faces significant challenges, including the rise of extremist groups and the destabilizing effects of transnational crime. Historically, many African nations have relied on foreign military support to address these issues. But Ghana's stance raises the question, could a more self-reliant approach, rooted in regional cooperation, be the answer? Neighboring countries and organizations like ECOWAS are watching closely, intrigued by the possibility that Ghana's bold move could inspire a broader shift across the continent. Internationally, the response has been mixed. The United States, for its part, has expressed disappointment. For years, Ghana has been a key partner in U.S. efforts to combat terrorism and promote stability in West Africa. Losing access to facilities in Ghana represents not just a logistical setback, but a challenge to the narrative of mutual benefit that underpins U.S. military engagements on the continent. However, Mahama's administration has been steadfast in its position, emphasizing that Ghana's decision is not anti-American, but pro-sovereignty. Critics of Mahama's decision have raised valid concerns. They argue that Ghana's security apparatus may not yet be fully equipped to address the complex threats facing the region. Without the support of U.S. intelligence and resources, some fear that Ghana could become more vulnerable to terrorism and other forms of destabilization. Additionally, there are economic considerations. The U.S. military presence brought jobs and investments to Ghana, and its departure could leave an economic void. Mahama's administration, however, is prepared to confront these challenges head-on. The government has announced plans to redirect resources towards strengthening Ghana's military capabilities. This includes investments in training, equipment, and intelligence systems, as well as initiatives to foster regional partnerships. The goal is to build a security framework that is not only self-sufficient, but also deeply integrated with the efforts of neighboring countries. By doing so, Ghana aims to prove that it can address its security needs independently while contributing to regional stability. What makes this moment so compelling is the larger narrative it represents. This is not just Ghana's story. It is a story about Africa's evolving relationship with the world. For decades, the continent has been seen as a stage for global powers to exert influence, often at the expense of local autonomy. But in recent years, there has been a growing push for African nations to reclaim their agency, to assert their priorities and chart their own paths. Ghana's decision to close U.S. military facilities is a powerful expression of this movement, a declaration that African nations are not mere pawns in the game of global politics. As the world watches, Ghana is taking a calculated risk. The decision to close U.S. military facilities is a gamble, one that requires careful planning and unwavering determination. The road ahead will not be easy. There will be challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But there will also be opportunities to prove that Ghana's vision of sovereignty and self-reliance is not just an ideal, but a viable reality. For the people of Ghana, this moment is about more than just military bases. It is about reclaiming their country's dignity, reaffirming their identity, and shaping their destiny. It is a reminder that even in a world dominated by powerful nations, smaller countries can make bold choices that change the course of history. In the years to come, the impact of this decision will be felt far beyond Ghana's borders. It will inspire conversations about the nature of sovereignty, the limits of foreign influence, and the possibilities of regional cooperation. It will challenge other nations to reflect on their own relationships with global powers and consider what it means to truly be independent. As Ghana moves forward, it does so with the eyes of the world upon it. This is a defining moment in the nation's history, a turning point that will shape its future and influence the course of a continent. The journey ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear. Ghana has made its choice, and it is a choice that will be remembered for generations to come. In standing up for its sovereignty, Ghana has shown the world the power of a nation determined to control its own destiny.
If today is your first time watching this channel or you are returning to this channel for the exciting content, please subscribe to the channel for more educative and developmental projects across Ghana and Africa as a whole. Do you want to know about the state of a project in Africa? Then make sure to like and comment the name of the project you would like us to talk about and its current state.